Promenade is a 2D adventure platformer where you'll be solving puzzles, engaging in boss battles, and of course tackling some challenging platforming sections. And look, I really mean it, don't let the cute art style deceive you, as there are some difficult tasks in Promenade. When the game begins, our player character Lewis is free-falling, with no rubber ring or snorkel might I add, and plummets into water. A small octopus-like creature called a pulp rescues us, nurses us back to good health, and provides us some refuge. It's quickly established that this guy is going to be our new buddy. P.S. His name is Nemo. We can jump, roll and use our pulp to interact with enemies as well as the majority of the game world. Most if not all of the mechanics in the game revolve around your newfound buddy's abilities. There's a main overworld hub, the Great Elevator, which you'll be traversing through to reach each level. But this is no ordinary overworld, and I'm saying that with air quotes. The Great Elevator itself is an enormous level, with an abundance of quests that you can complete. Now Nemo's abilities allows you to pick up enemies in order to throw them, extend the length of your jump as well as the ability to use grapple hooks. Most of the game revolves around these three mechanics whilst raising the difficulty ceiling the more that you progress. So, what's the objective of the game? An ominous being arrives and disables the Great Elevator from, well, elevating, by removing its cogs. Following this, they flee upwards, so to pursue this individual, we're going to need to get some more cogs and fix that elevator. Each time you get cogs and ascend to the next level, the same being arrives and takes even more cogs away from you. You'll repeat this pattern until you of course get to the top, but that's essentially your main objective. It's not going to be easy. So, we need cogs to repair that elevator, with a cog being formed by 3 fragments. Now it's fragments that are scattered around the game world, which we'll be hunting for. Each level has around 10 to 12 fragments where you'll be completing several different tasks to obtain them. Tasks include platforming hard to reach locations, time trials where you don't have a second to waste, as well as boss battles. We do also have to speak about the light-hearted tasks, which are easier as well as providing some comedic value. Tasks like these include helping this snail get to his hot date, playing basketball with an enemy being the ball, as well as some good old-fashioned juggling. You have a journal that tells you which task that you've completed as well as what's still outstanding. Now I found the journal to be helpful in letting me know which fragment's next just by the name alone. For example, I had one task that mentioned a colourful bridge, so I just threw some paint where this guy was working and voila, I'm now an artiste. You do have a health indicator in the form of hearts, of which you have 5. Now I didn't obtain any life up ability, so I'm confident in saying that this can't be upgraded. Enemies of course can damage you, and there are environmental hazards which you'll need to watch out for. When you die, and trust me it's when not if, you respawn at a checkpoint. Now the checkpoints are very generous early on, but as you progress the game pats you on your back and lets you know the training wheels are off buddy. You can restore your hit points by taking a rest in a hammock and smoking a cigarette. What's that? Oh, he doesn't smoke a cigarette. You say, oh, okay, my bad. But yes, these hammocks are scattered around the game world. There's no fall damage, but you can fall from higher section of the Great Elevator as well as in levels. Now on the Great Elevator, this isn't too bad because you're never too far from the rising platform. However, this can be incredibly frustrating from inside of a level. There are levels that you can only reach by platforming from a completely different level. Here, for example, I'm trying to complete a task, mess up and fall down to another stage. So not only do you have to spend a few minutes getting back to the task, but you also run the risk of falling back through the stage again. I didn't like this, and this isn't a one-off. There are a few other levels which replicate this same design choice. There was also a stealth portion in a level, and the stealth is handled really well, I'll give the game that, but I found it tedious, and I just wanted it to be over with. But it just kept going on and on. Look, I get it, I'm biased as I don't enjoy stealth-based mechanics, so if you do, you'll probably enjoy this section anyway. The game looks very good, and each level is highly distinguishable from one another. You'll be taking a walk on the beach, shuttling through space as well as icy cliffs. As mentioned earlier, each location has several tasks as well as new mechanics that you'll need to pick up and learn. Now there are hidden layers which are reminiscent of a bonus stage. The puzzles in these sections take considerably more thought process to complete. They're also much longer in duration and typically end with a boss encounter. I initially thought this game was going to be an absolute walk in the park just based on how the game looks, but man was I wrong. There were some puzzles where I was absolutely stumped, with no clue in the world of how to finish them. Some of these I eventually did figure out, but I'll have to admit I left plenty of these incompleted. Which brings us on to the fragments that I did leave behind. Now you don't have to get every fragment in the game to complete it. However, I did find myself having to grind towards the end to make up those last few pieces. Now your experience may vary, as its difficulty and difficulty is of course subjective. The puzzles and challenges difficulty definitely ramps up, and challenge can lead to frustration. Look, I'm no saint, and my neighbours definitely heard some profanity whilst I was playing. But just to make it clear, some of these challenging tasks and sections are optional. Some, but not all. When I started playing, I noticed there was an achievement for completing the game within 2.5 hours. That gave me the impression that the game was going to be really short, which did disappoint me as I'd just paid £20 for it, or approximately $25, but boy was I wrong on this one. The game took me 13 hours and 59 minutes to complete. Yes, we're being really specific there, but the game is fully fleshed out. There's no padding, and it had this much content. Just to reiterate the last point, guys, this game has a lot to do. You can also continue your journey when you finish the game, and there's a little bit of post-game content. So, who is this game for? I would say if you love 2D platformers or puzzle-based games, then you're probably going to enjoy Promenade. The game played very smooth with no bugs or glitches. Although there were some frustrating parts of the game I didn't enjoy, these were completely overshadowed by some of the brilliance of the puzzles and the platforming sections. As someone who isn't the biggest platformer enthusiast, actually I've reviewed so many now, I guess I kind of am, I thought the game was good. If you liked what you saw in the review, then you're probably going to enjoy Promenade. Ladies and gentlemen, subscribers and non-subscribers, thank you very much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, do all that stuff if you want. Look, I'm Senor Donut, that's all I got folks. Peace. Tasks like these include helping this smale, what the f*** is a smale?